Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a job that you are so tired to go in where it is draining the life out of you? It's an easy job, it's not complicated, but it is affecting your health. I've been there. I've had many jobs where I had to literally quit. I had a choice of which one is important, paycheck or my health. Both is very important. So in this video, I'm giving you about 5 videos that I'm going to react to that these people are going through a lot on their job. So go grab your coffee, your tea, and let's dive right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Remember, videos go out every other day at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So have your notification turned on so you will not miss out on this great content. And we're going to go ahead and dive right into the first video here.
My manager was evil. The dynamic of the company was just completely terrible. The culture was bad. I went on a mental health break because I honestly just could not deal with life at the time. So I took about a month and a half off of work, came back to work, and was immediately served with a PIP. If you don't know what a PIP is, it's a performance improvement plan. Pretty much they're saying you need to improve in certain areas, and if you don't within a certain time frame, then you risk being terminated. Before I went on my mental health sabbatical, I kept raising concerns and voicing concerns about me being overworked, me working within a role that I technically wasn't supposed to be in, that I had no knowledge or experience in. Therefore, a lot of the projects I was working on weren't working or connecting because I wasn't supposed to be doing the stuff that I was doing. And I took that as their response to me for going on this mental health break. Like, oh, so you want to take a month and a half off of work and leave us with your accounts? Bet. Now we're going to serve you with the PIP. So I quit. I quit literally the next day. I put in my resignation and said, you know what?
Sometimes it works like this. I don't know if you've been on a job where you've been overworked. I can raise my hand. There's a lot of jobs. I can't count on my hands and toes how many times I've been overworked. I'm doing 5 or 6 people jobs where people sitting in the back playing dominoes. You heard me right, playing dominoes. And I'm in here checking patients in, checking them out, answering the phones, running, making copies of the front and back of insurance card. I'm doing a lot. And you get to the point like, is a paycheck very important or my health? My health was more important. So I could understand, y'all. I could understand what she feel because people going through this every single day, every single day.
What, sayonara, I'm just going to pray to God and have faith that God's going to work the situation out for me because I quit without a plan. But what I was doing while I was on the mental health break is I was applying to other jobs. I typically will just always apply just to see what's out there. You never really know. Like, and at the end of the day, job security is not a real thing. It's always important to just explore your options. Right after I quit that job with those miserable people, I ended up getting an offer a couple days later. And now I'm in freaking California. Like an hour outside of Los Angeles with the freaking hills outside my window, sitting in the Four Seasons with a 10,000 plus salary increase and a better job title. And I would not have gotten all of these things if I didn't just say, you know what, I want better for myself. And if I didn't apply myself to getting better, I would still be at that job with those miserable people and me being miserable as well.
Sometimes, y'all, you have to step out on faith like she did. She stepped out on faith and she got something better. And in the meantime, she's applying for other opportunities. That's what I was doing. And I know that y'all probably gonna say it was wrong when I was working on site. I hate to say this, and I ask God for forgiveness, is I was using their fax machine to fax over my resumes at that time because that's how bad I wanted to get out. And I said, God, I'm sorry, but I had to do that in order to get out of that toxic environment, because it will affect your health. It came very close to affecting my health. So I understand. I agree with her. She was blessed to get another opportunity. So here is another video that I want to share with you too as well.
I know that this is not it. This is not the one for me. Okay. And it's crazy because, it's a good job, right, on paper, but just listen. So going into this, I already felt kind of anxious because I have not worked in like almost 6 months. I have been, successfully self-employed or whatever. But it's the holiday season. I'm like, let me get me a little job, right? Or a big job, right? And one thing about me is if I actively look for a job, I'm going to find one because my resume is very well. I interview very well. So I was not worried about, finding a job. And I found one quick. Shout out to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the plug, okay? Red flag number one that I did not realize was a red flag until my first day was, so there I had to do 3 interviews. The third interview was scheduled for like, and these were all virtual, for like 10 a.m., right? At when I check my email, because I'm all dressed, I'm about to log into the Zoom, and so when I'm pulling up the email, I see that the interview has been changed from 10 a.m. to I think 11:30 a.m. All right, okay, so I'm like, oh well, let me just chill or whatever. So obviously I didn't log in because I saw that they changed it. I'm like, maybe something came up, right? Well, by 10:15, I got an email saying, oh, you didn't show up for your interview, you're no longer being considered. So I emailed the lady back and I sent her a screenshot. I'm like, you changed the time. And she was like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, look at the screenshot. Like, I thought that you had rescheduled. So she was like, oh, okay, I don't know how that happened. But she never even apologized. She was just like, can you meet at this time instead? Like, so I was like, okay, whatever. No accountability. But I'm just thinking accidents happen, right? So yesterday is my first day. I get to the office, mind you, this is a new industry for me. And so another thing that like made me very anxious was the fact that I don't know, like I've been in banking for 6 years. I know how much I should be getting paid. I know how to negotiate or whatever. But this industry, I'm like, I don't know what, I really don't know the job. And so I don't know like what proper pay for this is, right? So anyways, I pull up yesterday. I got an email or whatever from HR. They're like, check in with the receptionist. You'll validate your parking and, they'll go from there, right? So all is well. I get here, check in with the receptionist. She says she's have a seat. IT is gonna come get you. Now that's weird. I've never like started a job and the first person that I speak with is IT.
Mm-hmm.
So IT comes and gets me and he's like helping me get logged into the computer, making sure I have access to all of these systems. And so that really didn't take long. That took like maybe 15 to 20 minutes or whatever. And so he's like, you know how like jobs, they have little videos you have to watch. So he's like, yeah, you can just watch the videos for now or, check your email, see if they sent you any like direction. So I'm just like, did I not just start a job? Like, what do you mean? Like, there's not somebody here that's going to, like, I'm literally asking him, like, is somebody going to come over and help me? Like, I don't, and tell me what to do? Like,
I've been there. Like when you start a job, I don't know where the hiring manager, you just sitting there trying to figure things out. You're not going through training. I've had positions where they didn't train me, just one day of training, and I had to learn on the floor. So I can understand what she's going through. This is a big deal, and it gets you to the place where you just don't want to work in that environment. So I can understand
what
exactly
time
what
do I
she's
go to
going
lunch? How long am I here for? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So he's like, yeah, I don't know. Just check your email. So I'm like, okay, very disorganized. Like, were y'all ready for somebody to start today? Like, mind you, nobody in the office, like, mind you, this is set up like a call center, like cubicles. Nobody says anything to me. Nobody greets me. Nobody says, hey, are you new here? How are you doing? Whatever. Like he just walks away. So I check my email. I see that somebody's supposed to be training me. So I call her because she's not even located in Miami. I call her and she's like, oh yeah, check your email. You should have something from your manager. Let's say the manager's name is Laura. Looked in the email. I said, I don't see anything from Laura. I was like, let me check my personal. Maybe she sent it to my personal. Nothing in my personal email. So she's like, okay, no worries. I'll email Laura and figure out what you're supposed to be doing. Like me and her conversation was maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. She was like, just watch the videos in the meantime. Mind you, it's like 300 videos. So I'm just sitting there watching the videos. 12 o'clock comes. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take a lunch. Come back from lunch. There's still no communication as to what I'm supposed to be doing. I wait 2 hours for her to let me know. So I email her and I'm like, hey, did Laura let you know what I'm supposed to be doing? Or can you provide me with Laura's last name so I can email her directly? Because I don't even, this is supposed to be my manager. My manager has not even came to greet me, say, oh, welcome to the team.
I what would you do in a situation like that, that you're at a company and nobody is speaking to you, haven't told you what you need to do? To me, it'd be like, hey, I would want to quit. This is not the job for me. Okay. She's sitting there and they telling her, they just communicating not through on the phone, but through emails, telling her to go watch these 300 videos. And she's like, she don't know what to do. Just imagine if, have you ever had a job like that? Let me know. Have you ever worked in a company where you just felt left out, that you was not part of the team? You was not part of the company? I could raise my hand high and say that I experienced that. So something like that, you'd be like, okay, maybe I need to just step back and think about, hey, this is not the job I want, to do. So you don't have no other choice but to just walk off the job.
Introduce me to everybody else on the team. Show me around the building. Where's the bathrooms? Where's the break room? Where do I put my lunch? Where's the cafeteria? Like, I'm not getting anything. I'm literally just sitting here like boo boo the fool, and nobody even like, for me. Whenever I've worked a job, if I see somebody new, I will say, oh hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Like, I'm not gonna be your friend or whatever, but I at least have like work. I have work etiquette, right? So an hour later, it seems like the trainer, she never responded to me, but she forwarded the email to Laura. So then an hour later, Laura emails me and she's like, welcome to the team. Okay, thanks. And I see in her signature line that she's also not in Miami. Like, so, and then mind you, when I was on the phone with the trainer, she was like, did nobody show you around? I was like, no. She was like, you haven't spoken to anybody? I said, IT. So Laura's just like, welcome to the team. So I'm like, okay, Laura, what am I doing today? How long am I here for? Like, what's my schedule? Like, I don't know what, like, do y'all need me? Did y'all not hire me? Did y'all not hire me? Mind you, this is a very large company that's operates in all 50 states. Very reputable company. So she's like responding like real short, like, what schedule do you want to work? Like very short tech or email responses, and she's taking so long to respond. I'm just like, girl, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I doing? Like, what exactly am I doing? Right. So then I end up sending her an email and I'm like, well, how do I clock in and out? Right. That was yesterday. She didn't
Hmm.
respond. I come in this morning. She has a response. She did respond to me and she said, did you figure out how to do it?
I hate when you send an email. You send an email and you gotta play tag. You grown, right? And you playing tag like your kids trying to reach your hiring manager, trying to reach people and ask questions and they never respond. Do that make you upset? That make me upset all the time when I'm taking our time being the responsible person, sending an email when you have questions and nobody won't respond back to you. That's a red flag to me. Like, hey, maybe I don't need it. I need to find something else really quickly if I can. I need to. Nobody responded back to her. So what would you do in this situation? Come in the comments below and let me know what you would do in that situation.
Why do I have to figure out how to do it? Why don't you tell me how I'm supposed to report my time? Why would I even work for a company where you're not even saying like, oh, it's your first week, you're not in yet, so I'm going to manually do your time. You're just like, did you figure it out yet? No. Did you tell me how to do it? That's how I would figure it out. Even if you're not located if your manager is not located in your office, there's hella people in here. There's like 50 other people who are working in the same position that are already in here in the office. Why would you not hit up one of your, stellar employees and say, hey, we have somebody new coming. Can you please introduce yourself, show her around the building? This is what I need her to do. Like, why am I basically training myself? Why am I reaching out to you all to ask you guys what I'm supposed to be doing? And I'm driving freaking hour here in Miami traffic. Like, I could be at home. Mind you, this position is 5 days in office. There's no hybrid, no remote, no nothing. You don't even get a laptop. I could have did this at home. I could have sat and looked like boo-boo fool, looking stupid, like the new kid on the block. Nobody's speaking to me. Nobody's acknowledging my existence. I could have stayed home rather than sit in this office uncomfortable, twiddling my thumbs, staring at the wall. Like, you don't want to sit and be on your phone and people think like, oh, she's gonna be that person who's always on her. Like, what is this? What is this? Same thing today. Like, y'all, like, very large company, and this is how they operate.
Yeah, I can feel this. She didn't have no instruction. She didn't know what to do. Nobody greeted her. You're just looking at her like, what is she's there? Her hiring managers, they weren't even in her location. See, they're not planning, they're not preparing. People experience this every single day. You go into work, nobody is trying to train you. I've been on jobs where they just train me one day or maybe 2 hours and they say, okay, you get on the floor and you trying to figure it out. Wow, remember, peace is better than a paycheck, but I know that you got to pay your bills and everything, but peace is very important because if you're out and you can't take care of yourself and you need your health issues, then how you going to go to work? So this is horrible here, y'all. Here is another one, y'all, because we need to see this because people are going through this every single day on these different jobs where it's toxin. People don't understand. If you've never been through it, it is toxin on these different jobs, and they just don't know. A lot of people don't know what you go through until they experience it. So here is another
My
one,
job
y'all.
today, well, I put in my 2 week notice, and as you can see, I'm a little bit relieved. My job has literally been draining the life out of me and just no longer serve me. It was taking a toll on my mental health, especially them just putting me in a random position from one day to the next. And it just no longer served a purpose in my life. And I'm so nervous and scared about quitting my job without having another job, full-time job. But God is good.
Yes, he is.
And I'm going to trust in him
Mm-hmm.
because he's going to make a way. I know it.
Yeah. Here is another one I want to share with you.
And here's what I've realized so far after quitting. Number one thing is I feel that my mind is just a lot clearer. Okay, without a job, I have so much more time to just think creatively. And when you have a job, it is so mentally draining. For that week period that you're working. You're kind of only thinking about your job, and then you get home and you want to relax. Then you have the weekend, you want to hang out with your friends, stuff like that. You don't have a lot of time to think creatively or focus on yourself. So that is one thing that I've noticed is my mental clarity is a lot better. Another thing I've noticed is that discipline is way more important than motivation. Okay, when you have a job, you have a schedule that's given to you, you know what you have to do during the day to make the boss happy. But when you're on your own, you have to make your own schedule and you really have to hold yourself accountable and go step by step on what you have to do during the day. Even if you're not motivated, you have to stay disciplined in order to reach those goals. Also, time moves a lot faster when you're not working, which is something that I didn't really realize. If a week will go by super fast, if you're not structuring out your days, it can get really easy.
That is so true. Even if you're not working or if you have your own business, that time go by so fast. And when you're working, not for a company, but if you have your own business, you don't, I mean, I don't need, to be honest with you, I don't need a boss breathing it down my back telling me what I need to do next. I always know what to do because I write things down. I have a schedule in my head where I'm writing down, okay, this is what I need to do. So a lot of people need that, structure where they have a boss telling them what they need to do, a schedule. But yeah, when you are working for yourself or if you're not working, time passes by so fast. And I get it. You got to have a job. A lot of people say, well, don't quit your job until you have a plan. A lot of people quit their job and they don't have a plan. I did in the past. I quit my job. I didn't have no plan. I've been at a job where they overhired people and they laid off 100 people. I was a temp one time and they overhired people and they didn't have enough room. They didn't have enough work for us to do. So I was unemployed. Okay. So it is very stressful. Okay. I know a lot of people, I'm not the only one that experienced it. It's very stressful that you come to work every single day and you having bosses blowing up at you. I've been there. I told y'all that years ago when I was pregnant with my first child, the boss didn't like me. So when that boss knew that I was pregnant, he rolled me. I mean, he talked snappy to me. I used to dread going to work. When I get out of the car, I used to cry to get out of the car because I hate being in that environment. I knew that I had to put up with mess where he would cuss at me. He would talk crazy to me. My husband would say quit. And I was the type of person, I was not a quitter. And I just kept praying, say, God, deliver me from this stormy pit. Didn't know that 2 weeks later that I was going to go into the hospital early to have my baby early. My child was born 2 months early. Okay. All because of the stress, dealing with the boss. So that's why I say it's very important to have peace than a paycheck at that particular time. My health was more important. And my child is fine. Okay. I just want to make that clear. He's fine, straight A student, doing really good, everything like that. But there's a saying, they meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. So I understand sometimes you got to pick and choose, and sometimes it's a hard choice to choose. But I choose my health over a paycheck because I know that God will provide for me. He has provided for me before, and he would do the same thing for me. But like I said, it's a lot of toxic people that are in these work environments now. It's very much
Easy to waste time during the day and have a week slip by with you not putting in any work. So structuring your days so that you know what you have to do during each day and ultimately working step by step to get to your goals. That is super important, or else time will just slip away. Lastly, people do not care as much as I thought. I was expecting a bunch of people to judge me or question my choice of leaving my job, when in reality, people are too focused on their own lives. They don't have the time to be questioning your choices or judging you. Everyone is living their own lives and they're focused on bettering themselves, and they don't really have time. So if that's a reason that is stopping you from quitting your job, I would not really focus on that too much. All in all, quitting my job has just given me that mental clarity and freedom to really explore what I'm passionate about, what I want to do in this life, and I am just super excited for what the future holds.
Okay, let's look at another one.
I must say that it's the best decision that I made, but it's also one of the hardest decisions that I've made. It's definitely the best decision for me because my health was just being affected by it too much. My mental was being affected by it too much. Working in toxic environments is a lot more damaging than what a lot of people give it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see a lot of people always give the generic advice of don't quit without a backup plan, don't quit without emergency savings. And as much as that is good advice, I also think that it's advice that is given without the nuance of understanding how toxic environments, pushing yourself to working those every day can also be very harmful to the point where it's becoming very destructive. You hear about stress starting to take people out
Mm-hmm.
at very early ages. So I just think that we have to have a more nuanced conversation around these things where
And I agree 100% is that stress is you can't take that lightly. You go to work, I mean, it's people that have been to work every single day, Mondays through Fridays. Some people work 7 days a week. It's people have came to work on their off day. It's people that are doing 5 or 6 people jobs. And let me tell you something. If something happened to you today, before they put you under the ground, they already have your replacement. So you have to think about self-care for yourself. I used to be the type person wouldn't even take a vacation because nobody knew how to do my job. I went years and years without taking a vacation. Um, when I did try to take a vacation, they wouldn't want me to take a vacation because they were like, who gonna do your job? Well, y'all gonna have to figure that out. So remember, you got to take care of yourself. Too many times we're so caught up on these jobs, we're faithful to these jobs, and then when it comes down to a raise, they won't even give you a raise. For Christmas, they won't give you anything. They will not give you a flower. They will not do anything for appreciation. You just sitting there just going to work and they don't appreciate you, you know? And I get it. A lot of people will tell you, like he just said, have a backup plan. You just don't quit. You know, if you quit your job, what you going to do? How bills are going to be paid? But sometimes when it gets to the point where it's affecting your health, you're like, look, I got to get out of here. I got to get out here immediately.
we're not so afraid to take these leaps and we can start doubling down in our faith, not saying it's going to be easy, but saying that it can be necessary because it can save a life.
Mm-hmm.
It can help somebody open up a bigger door. Like it's okay to take a chance. And it's not going to be peaches and cream. I don't think anyone should ever expect that. But I do think that if we keep holding on to security, that we make ourselves small by doing that. I did close a door on a job that was underpaying me, very high demand, stressful job. But at the same time, I used to put off things because I would say, I gotta go do this, I gotta go this for the job. I was putting the job before anything and everything in my life, and it was not pouring back into me. So yes, I closed that door, and I am about to continue to struggle through it, but I also about to figure it out. I'm about to grind, and I am getting stronger in other areas because then now the next door that I go through is gonna be a bigger door. And I think it's worth the sacrifice to close a small door to open up a bigger one. We don't know what God has planned for us,
That's right.
but I do think that it's important to know that God is always going to be with you no matter what decision you make.
Yeah.
So be courageous. It's going to get scary. I have my moments. Trust me, I have my moments. But I always have to remind myself that God is bigger than any fear that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen to that. God do not give you a spirit of fear. A lot of times we don't take action because we scared, okay? And all God asked us is, do we trust him? Do you trust him with your whole heart? And I say, God, I trust you with my whole heart. I know that you're going to make a way out of no way. These jobs don't have my back. These jobs come and go. They can fire you for no reason at all. And you come to work faithful and they fire you and you're not getting promoted. People that don't even do their work, they moving up and you sitting here, you at square one. So sometimes you got to take a chance. And that's what these people are doing, taking a chance, trusting the process, trusting God, and knowing that God will provide for you. Because like I said, if you get sick today or tomorrow, or if something happened to you, you have a replacement. They're going to replace you in a second. So you got to stop putting off things. I agree. I told you I put off a lot of things, taking vacation, taking time off because I was scared. Nobody could do my job. But let me tell you something. It's a good moment when you say, look, I choose peace over paycheck. Since I've left that job, I'm a better person. God had a better job for me down the road. When one door closed, there's going to be another door open with your name on it, but you have to trust the process. No don't mean no, y'all. It means next opportunity. You have to trust the process. You will find what you're seeking real soon. A lot of y'all in a toxic situation. You're a toxin on these jobs and you don't know what to do. You're getting out here crying every single day. Like, I don't even want to go to work today. Oh, I don't want to go to work today. You dread to get out of the work. Seem like the weekends pass really fast and you got to go to work Monday. Sometimes you got to make a decision on what you're going to do. God is with you. He do not give you a spirit of fear. Just remember that. These people are telling you. Remember that.
Glory to God, things have been figured out. I didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow, then tomorrow came and it was figured out. So don't let today's fear mess up tomorrow's courageous opportunity. It's okay to close a door to open up a bigger one. And you might not know what it's going to look like, and that's okay. But being lost can be a good thing because now you'll search and find things that you never would have before if you were to continue on a path that was just so easily digestible, that was just so easily conformed for you. So, take the leap of faith. That's the only reason I'm making this video. Whoever's watching is to take the leap of faith, because there's a lot of people that's giving the other advice, and that's not wrong. But I also want to give you watching, if this is for you, the advice that you're not wrong for taking that leap of faith. You just got to be ready to go through the fire.
Well, you have to go to the fire in order to see the sunshine. And I know a lot of people tell you, hey, don't quit, because it's hard to find a job. And when you walk off a job, they have to go back to your past employer and see, what are the reason why you left, so you be like, okay, should I quit? Should I let them fire me? What I should do? But you got to understand, if your health gets in the way, you're not going to be able to work. And when your health is the problem, they're not going to come and see you. So you got to pick and choose. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. You always have to have a backup plan. It all means necessary. I do agree with that. When you're on a job where it's toxic, you need to have a escape plan. Do something, have a side hustle, have a backup plan. So if you do, hey, I'll drive DoorDash. I wash somebody dirty laundry instead of putting up with toxin. That's just me. Yeah, I'll get out there and hustle, and I wash somebody else's laundry to keep from being in a toxin situation. Okay. We can say a lot of things until it comes to fruition. So in order to save my mental health and my health in general, I'll drive DoorDash in order for a peace of mind. I'll wash somebody's laundry for a peace of mind. I'll work at a daycare for a peace of mind. I'll hold up a stop sign for the bus where the kids and escort them across the street just for a peace of mind. I'll work in a cafeteria just for a peace of mind. I would do all of that. So you let me know in the comment section, have you experienced going to work that you dread to get up in the morning? You dread. Some of y'all are crying to go to work. You're like, I just can't go to work today because I know what it's going to be like. I got to deal with this crazy boss. I got to deal with this toxin co-worker. Let me know in the comment section, have you experienced it and have you quit before? If you haven't quit, what is your plan? Okay, so let me know in the comment section. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Videos go out every other day at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I am here to educate you in every way. So I always tell you, keep pushing. Pushing means praying till something happen. Prayer is the key that will unlock doors that you thought that you never could enter. People walk away from you, but God will never walk away from you. He's there for you and he has your back. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.